I know that no one's going to be watching this live stream. The only reason why I'm doing this is because, um, well, as you guys can see, I'm on my laptop right now. My editing PC slash gaming PC I gave away to my cousin because I figured it was time that I get a new PC. So while I'm buying the parts for said PC, I figured I would use my laptop. Turns out using the online editing software I used to versus the DaVinci Resolve that I'm used to using, it just felt weird. So I figured I'll experiment with the live stream here. So, anyways, I have my milk tea here because I am a Hong Kong um, guy, I guess. I'm from America, but my family has roots in Hong Kong, so there's that. Anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and quickly do a status update regarding the channel. Hopefully someone is watching the repeat of this or the live stream if anyone's even here. I'm back from Hawaii. It was a lot of fun. Thank you to the Kona Airsoft community for being such gracious guests and letting me run around and shoot them with the 417. Aside from that, everything has been pretty good. As I said, I gave away my gaming PC because I figured it's time for my cousins to get a taste of what PC gaming is all about. And in the meantime, I can do all of my schoolwork and script writing on this laptop. So yeah, that's what's going on there. Slide Bite in the meantime is going to be delayed for the foreseeable future, mainly because it's not because I can't go out and film, it's because I don't have a PC to do the editing on. This thing is going to take forever if I try to use editing software on it, and it has nowhere near the hard drive space that it needs to store the videos. Anyways, so with that out of the way, is there anything else I wanted to say? Oh yeah, regarding the Noveridge video, I'm not really sure if I want to do a follow-up to it because I kind of made that video as a rant and kind of wanted to leave it as that. As foolish as that may sound now, but it was just a quick rant because I was filming the 417 slide bite, which in the end I really didn't do much footage for that. So yeah, so much for that. Aside from that, that's pretty much it. We're gonna go ahead and start getting into the questions that you guys have been sending me since my last Q&A. And thank you for all the questions, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Starting with jcoda22 on my Golden Eagle M4 video, and he's asking if it still works, and yeah, still works just fine. I was honestly kind of surprised that it still worked, considering that the materials that Golden Eagle used for that GBB is so cheap. But yeah, it still works. Still hasn't had any major issues. It is a Western arm system, so it can be hit or miss with the reliability. And because it's so cheap, you know, I'm not really gonna shed a tear if it breaks or not. So yeah. Short answer is yeah, no issues. Long answer, I plan on doing things to it, but I don't have the budget right now due to a lot of things going on. So yeah, there's nothing really much to say besides that. Next question. James Lindsay is asking on my UMP video, do I ever have difficulty loading the magazines, and saying that he's broken a couple of quick loaders. Yes, I have. I have had difficulty loading the UMP mags because it seems like VFC has made it their mission to not only make their guns realistic to modify, but also a pain in the ass to reload. This is the same for my 416 mags, but I've kind of broken them in so it's not an issue anymore. I figured that using the Tokyo Marui loader that it gave me, it was like, it's essentially just a tube that single feeds BBs and it has a plunger on it. So that system works just fine, although I am starting to break that one. Honestly, the standard speed loader that VFC gives in all of their gas blowbacks works just fine. It has a special adapter for it. You just kind of need finger strength, really. Hopefully that answered your question. Let's see. Jespin Jaeger, is there any way of lowering the FPS on the UMP? Sort of. I heard that on the version 3, on the version 3 UMPs, like the one I have, you can adjust it because there is an NPAS system built into the system. I haven't personally tinkered with it. I figured that my UMP works just fine the way it is. I still haven't gotten to working on it. I did leave a comment on this particular video, but I'm kind of lazy. Oh, cool. I have some people that are actually tuning in on this stream. You guys made a very big mistake. Let's see, next question. K. Ethan L. He is asking, am I flying Cessnas? Yes, I am. I am a student pilot, so I am going up into the sky occasionally and flying around and freaking out my flight instructor. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I've been a lifelong aviation enthusiast, so I love flying. I want to start doing more videos related to aviation and that sort of thing, but I don't want to wear a GoPro for like an hour while I'm flying around because my head gets really sweaty and it gets really uncomfortable. Maybe I'll find a way to incorporate aviation into the channel. Yudha is asking, oh god, I forgot about this. Okay, so a lot of you guys have been asking about the VR game that I did. And now that I think about it, going back on it, that was a massive mistake. But at the same time, kind of not really. So actually, if I just open up my Patreon page here, because I do shield for a lot of hentai artists. Let's see. Here it is. Okay, so the game is called Viva Project. It's basically a lowly girlfriend simulator, but it's safe for work. Take that with a grain of salt. I basically saw it on a YouTube video, thought it was funny, and decided, oh, okay, I'll do this as a little shit post. And so, yeah. For what it's worth, I thought it was funny. Let's see here. Is there any comments going on? Okay. I have comments enabled, so, you know, I'm surprised no one has popped in and said hi. Maybe I should just bug people. But yeah, so the short version of what this game is, it's basically, oh, hey Suomi, how you doing? Don't worry, I'll get to your question because I actually found it kind of interesting. So yeah, I've got like a massive backlog of comments and questions that I gotta go through. So yeah, buckle up. This is gonna be a long one. But yeah, so Yudha was asking about the VR game that I played. And yeah, I'll probably go back and leave a description of what the game is. It's free, well, ish on Patreon. It's actually kind of interesting because it's using voice recognition, um, basically to make a fully interactive girlfriend. So, for what it's worth, we're starting to become Japan. So, Sogurk 1 is this. So this is a three-part question. So I'm gonna answer it like so. So the first one is, is this UMP that I have the same one that Con Seb did a review on? And the short answer is yes, but actually no. The long answer is when's uh, the short answer for the concept, or the long answer for the concept one is his is a V1. Mine is a V3, so it has the NPAS system. So there is enough difference between the two guns that they do behave differently. That said, everything that can go into the hey Duckware, everything that can go into the V3 can go into the V1 retroactively because VFC likes to, I guess, go backwards compatibility with their V3s to V1 or V2 to V1. That way, previous V1 owners don't have to essentially buy an entirely new gun. They can just buy the drop-in parts and it'll work just fine. Oop, and low power mode. There we go. So yeah, hey Duckware, how you doing? Let's see. So yeah, that's the first question. The second one is where do you put the pins when you field strip the thing? And the short answer is if you're out in the field, put it in your pocket. If the UMP in real life was designed as a law enforcement gun to phase out the MP5. So what I'm assuming, because H&K loves to fuck over poor people, is they made these pins and thought to themselves, this gun is going to live in a police armory for the rest of its life. They didn't expect some sweaty milsimmer to go out to a, Air Force base in like Southern California, where they have to field strip the gun and they have to worry about losing all these pins. Because with the G3, you can put those pins into the stock. And I saw that Sogurk mentioned that there's a place in the holes in the stock. I guess you could, but the thing is that they'll rattle around. So if you're fiddling with the gun, they could fall out. So I guess you're screwed. Got to go and buy another pin from H&K. So yeah, I guess it could work. It makes sense because it would basically be a throwback to the G3. And then the final one is the and the final question from Sogurk is regarding the recent Bada Bing video on the MP5. Yes, I did see the charging handle break. People keep telling me about it. I realize that VFC is basically guilty of doing a lot of things that most airsoft companies do, which is skimp out on materials where they think they can get away with it. And one of them happened to be the charging tube handle, or the charging handle tube, which is made of pot metal. That said, Bada Bing said himself he is going to be adding a real steel charging handle when he gets the chance, which is pretty cool. The fact that he can put in real steel parts into an airsoft gun is pretty awesome, and also makes it a little more realistic. So let's see. I'm gonna get a little sip of tea here. If you guys have any questions in the live chat, I'll prioritize them over the list of comments that I have here. So don't be afraid to ask. Phantom M16 on my MP5 video, he's asking if I'm going to be doing a 1-year review. So, I hate to break a lot of your guys' hearts. You guys are going to be waiting a really long time for a retroactive review. The reason why I say that is because right now, my current goal with airsoft reviews is I'm basically trying to do the Forgotten Weapons thing and just, find every single gas blowback that I can known to man and do a review on it. Then once I finally do that, I'll go and do a retroactive. The only caveat that I might have for that rule is if I don't have any if I don't have the budget to get any guns, and I've kind of gone through my backlog, because right now, you guys probably don't know this, but I have like, let's see, so after the Scar, I have the PP2K, I have the VFC MP7, and I have the 417, and I also have the APS 870 shotgun. So I have four guns in the backlog right now that I gotta eventually slog through and do a review on. So um, so I got plenty of review material to last me at least next year, once I get my PC up and running. So I hate to break your heart, but you're gonna have to probably rely on Bada Bing to see the retrospective, because, like I said, I'm mostly doing like first impressions when it comes to reviews, kind of like a first impression buyer type of deal. So, sorry to break your heart. Let's see. Drops Airsoft on my one and only gameplay footage is what is the settings on my GoPro? And I'm gonna just quickly answer it. I didn't fiddle with it whatsoever. I just literally put in a memory card, press record, and just started playing. I found that pretty easy, so. I don't do gameplay footage because I don't have the skill. Like I'm gonna admit it right here and now in this live stream. I am like nowhere near like the skillful players that a lot of these gameplay footage YouTubers do. Like if you guys want a really interesting YouTuber to watch, I recommend watching FOV Airsoft, because he's a pretty cool dude, and he actually shows him dying over and over and over again. So he provides a realistic expectation of what Airsoft is like. So. Let's see, I got another one of those people asking for the VR game. God. Let's see. I'm also getting this question a lot, so I'm just going to quickly answer it in passing. A lot of people are wondering where the heck I get my Gbbs from. I get them from Asia. So WGC, Red Wolf, Bunny's Workshop, all those sites I get them from straight from the website to my doorstep. There is another caveat with H&K guns, is because Umarex is very anal about trades being sent overseas to different licensing regions. So what you have to do is you have to ask the airsoft store to cover up the markings, so that way it gets shipped legally. Because by law, I believe it's like U.S. Postal, if they open up your package, they cannot tamper with the item in question. So legally, there's no trades until you peel back the sticker. So. Let's see, skipping past the Novridge stuff, because actually, wait, there might be one. Yeah, I'm going past like the Novridge stuff, because yeah, that video was a bit of a dumpster fire. Do I regret it? Not really. Tommy is asking on the Golden Eagle M4 video, is it worth getting as your first gas blowback? And this is a good question, because a lot of people when I go to games ask me what type of gas blowback do they get. Because they see me running around with, let's say, my VFC 417, my SCAR, my 416, UMP 45, MP5, you know, all my fancy stuff. And they ask me what is the best gas blowback to get starting, and I always recommend the Golden Eagle one for a couple of reasons. For one, it's dirt cheap. On Evike it was like $148, which is about as much as a like high-end. Actually, I think it's cheaper than a high Kappa. It has a Western Arms system in it, so it is while it may not be guaranteed reliable, it'll work, at least out of the box for now. And because it's all polymer, it's lightweight, so for those that have noodle arms, you're not going to sweat a lot or collapse from exhaustion. And it's got a decent amount of recoil that, you know, at the end of the day, once it breaks, by that point, you'll have either made up your mind whether you want to go into gas blowbacks even more, or if you want to, say, stick with AEGs, or God help you, get a bolt action sniper. So, yeah. Uh, and also one other thing is when I do reviews, there's a reason why I factor in cost is because what a lot of airsoft channels in general tend to do is they do a straight up performance review of the gun, but they fail to take into account the price of the gun as well. At least some of them do. Um, and when people say what is the best gas blowback, a lot of people straight up just say ViperTech, which is admittedly somewhat true, but it's kind of nerfed because the gun costs like, last I checked, it was like 1.1K. And sure, it can be the most glorious gas blowback on the market, but it means nothing if no one can afford it. So that's why I recommend VFC a lot, because it's the best middle ground. Mid-tier rifle, they work great out of the box, they look great externally, and depending on what model you get, there's a decent aftermarket afterwards. So long answer. Hope the two people that are watching this stream found that interesting. Yeah, bit long-winded, but short answer is yes, it's a great first gun until it breaks. Then you can decide whether you like gas blowbacks or not. Okay, let's see what else there is. Getting kind of close here. God, I'm getting another one of those people asking for the VR game. Like, as I'm scrolling through the comments here, I've gone through like three of them so far. Yeah, I've gone through like three. God help me. Let's see, just gonna quickly check something real fast. Let's see, has anyone commented? I just want to make sure. Where is Suomi's question? I saw it here earlier. Oh, okay, this one's interesting. So Bird basically put a really large wall of text, but he buried a question in it, and it's on the Novrich video. It's on the Novrich video on me shitting on Novrich. Why don't I find a way to, or why don't I like do a tutorial on getting into airsoft? And the truth is, I would love to, but I don't feel qualified to do that because of a couple of things. For one, I've been in airsoft for roughly 4 years now, a little longer than that actually, but I've been in airsoft for a while now, and I've been doing gas blowbacks for the majority of that time. So my time with AEGs, while I still vaguely remember it, it's not fair for me to basically impart GBB knowledge on some poor rental who has no idea what I'm talking about, and is probably only there for his birthday. So it's not fair, because it's not fair for me to do that to someone and just overload them. I can totally try, but my place, like I said in the comment, is that my play style is like really far from like the baseline airsoft, player who, and even then I don't play airsoft as often as I do anymore, mainly because I work on weekends, and the only time the airsoft field I go to is on the weekends. Go figure. So yeah, the best I do right now is I do reviews of, airsoft guns, and you guys make up your own mind. Um, as much as I would like to hold your hand and teach you how to do airsoft, I right now I just don't think it's fair for me to do that. So, let's see. Moving up, moving up. Do, do, do. Oh, that's weird. Where's Suomi's video question? Guess I'm gonna just keep going. That's weird. Where the hell did it go? In case you guys are wondering, the shuffling noise that you hear in the back is one of my. It was in the UMP45 video. Okay, let me take a look. Oh, okay. Hang on. Before I answer your question, some poor sap basically got debated in one of my videos. So, if for those of you who look in the description of my videos, one of them I put a Easter egg, which is that 6-digit lock code. This poor guy, Zach. I feel bad for you because I can't believe you fell for it. For those who are out of the loop, basically that 6-digit lock code is for hentai. So if you go to a certain website that every degenerate knows and you put in that 6-digit code, usually pops up a certain hentai of some sort. In this case, I put the meme one, the depressing drug addict one, and as a result, the guy is now like complaining in the comments that he needs a bleach or some shit. So, you got debated. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. At the same time, not really, because you kind of put your fate into your own hands when you search up the lock code. So, okay, so Suomi, this is your question, and I see that it's 3, so I'm gonna go one by one on them. So the first one is, will I be doing a UMP9 video? And I hate to break your heart, but right now, no. And the main reason why is because the UMP9 and the UMP45 are basically the same thing. The UMP9 is just scaled down slightly. The ergonomics are also pretty much the same. They got the same charging handle location. They got the same location for everything. They've got the same charging handle, and they're basically the same gun, except one just got copy and pasted and resized to basically a smaller version. So, and even then, I'm assuming that the performance on the gun is going to be similar. Just basically from when I took apart the gun, it's literally just straight blowback like the real thing. And also because it's slightly smaller, I'm assuming it. Actually, no, wait. I take that back. I'm assuming performance might be slightly faster, because it's a lighter bolt in my mind. So it may go faster. I don't know. Okay, maybe I'll consider doing the UMP9 if I run out of other guns to do. That sound fair? The second one is the question of importation of the UMP9. So I already kind of touched on this regarding imports to, I guess, the US at least. When it comes to Umarex guns, which is technically what the UMP9 is, and what a lot of other H&K guns are, Umarex is very stingy about licensing when it comes to different regions, like I said. So getting one into the States is relatively easy. Like I said, you just got to cover the trades up, you're good. Funny thing is that the UMP45 is readily available here in the US, even in California. But every other gun that I've gotten into California, I've had taken apart. So with my 416, 417, for example, they came in 3 components. So when I opened up the box, I had to basically reassemble the entire thing. With Canada and Australia, if you live in those regions, well, Australia, you're shafted. Airsoft is illegal. Essentially, the government's telling you to go get fucked. Canada is slowly becoming the same thing, but for the meantime, yes, you can still get stuff into Canada. But if you want to get it, I suggest doing it now. That way, if Canada, I guess, restricts like airsoft ownership, which is kind of stupid, if they like do it now. That way your guns are grandfathered in, you're good, and you know, I guess it'll look nice in your collection for your kids to own one day. As for the EU, I don't live in the area, so it kind of varies. I know that some nations are relatively lax on airsoft guns, except for Germany. Germany is kind of, well, it's kind of just a black hole of regulations. Like for them, you can't even own a laser sight, can't have certain, what was it? Can't have certain features. I'm not sure about the, what was it, about optics. I think optics are fine. Uh, Either way, the EU is just kind of a giant mess of regulations. I think Italy, funny enough, is pretty okay with a lot of stuff. Because I get a lot of Italian, a lot of people on the Heavy Recoil Club with like a bunch of guns from Italy, which is kind of funny. So, yeah. And as to get a UMP9, the last place I saw where you can get one reliably was WGC, but last I checked, it was sold out. Right now is kind of a terrible time to get airsoft guns because last I checked, GHK is short on materials, ViperTech is short on materials, VFC is, I'm assuming, is short on materials because their FNFAL has been delayed for like 6 months now, and it kind of just turned into vaporware. So God knows when that's coming out. And yet they somehow post on Facebook a Carl Gustav that no one is going to get because, you know, who. So I don't know. They seem kind of like mixed response on that one. WeTech, I have no clue what's going on with them. They're just kind of their own little autistic black hole. KWA is plentiful. They're everywhere because no one wants them. So. So yeah, the big three websites I would check is WGC, Red Wolf, and Bunny's Workshop. You can check Moai Hobbies. Moai Hobbies is also a good choice, but their site looks kind of outdated and crummy, so it feels like kind of going into that back alley type of thing. So yeah, that's the best I can recommend, because last I checked with Moai Hobby, actually I'll check Moai Hobbies right now, because why not? I'm on the live stream. But last I checked, it is there. Oh, wait, no. Okay, so from the looks of it, they do have. Oh yeah, they do have one. Huh? How about that? Oh, never mind. They're out of stock. I'm sorry. Yeah. So right now everything's out of stock. And I learned about gas blowback manufacturers is that they cycle through their tooling. So right now, VFC, they should theoretically be making FALs, and they're what was it? I'm running low on battery again. They should be theoretically making FALs and M110s. GHK is right now tooled up to make GHK Glocks, and that seems to be it right now. Yeah, it just seems like right now the tooling cycle is kind of weird. The if there is one, I don't know for certain unless I go to Taiwan and break into a factory and see what they're doing. Or VFC kidnaps me and uses me as their puppet. Let's see. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. The UMP9, or actually VFC guns in general, are starting to become kind of scarce because of the COVID material shortages. So as such, there's not much. There's just not many gas blowbacks to go around right now. There's plenty of AEGs, which is probably not something you want, but it's better than nothing. Right, and the last question, where do I get my J-tie? And you're asking about Essen Graph. So yes, I do get some of my stuff from Essen Graph, but I'm starting to get a lot of my stuff from other local, uh, like Japanese stores. And there's a long story to getting Japanese gear. At least here in the States, you have to use a proxy, like a proxy service. Like for example, I use Zen Market. Is that what it's still called? Zen Market. Yes. So I use Zen Market to get all of my JSDF gear. So getting it into the States is like a pain in the ass. Plus, an exorbitant amount of money. Well, sorta. It's like $3 for them to source it, and then I have to pay for shipping and that sort of stuff. So whenever I get JSDF gear, it's usually in like one giant sale, and then I get it. I try to avoid like getting ones and twos sort of thing because it's just so much money. But yes, I do get it from Essen Graph. Essen Graph is a pretty good source of like airsoft Japanese gear. Funny enough, my my G3 pants when I still had them, turns out they were made in America, then sent to Japan, then came back into the U.S. So I figured that was a funny little story. Um, but yeah, with the Japanese gear, it's most of it is fictional. The only thing that I know is real is the chest rig, the plate carrier, helmet, and the regular uniform. The combat clothing, like my Cry combat shirt and pants, that's fictional. Although I'm assuming some Japanese special forces unit is probably running it because the government doesn't really like to do procurement, at least with the ground forces. Let's see. So yeah, most of my stuff is used to come from Essen Graph, but a lot of the accessories are now starting to come from other stores. And actually, let me see if I have it in my bookmarks. So one of the stores is Tatsakura, which I believe means like, I don't know, or like, I think it's like Shield Blossom or something like that. Let's see. Yeah, Tatsakura. Um, so they have a whole bunch of nice accessories. They have a whole like assortment of backpacks, pouches, just basically secondary stuff besides the clothing that you can use. You can get Japanese rations from them. I'm not sure if it's real. I'm assuming it's like for an airsofter or for like some Japanese person going backpacking. The one thing you have to remember is Japan is pretty xenophobic. It's why you can't just like order stuff straight from their website. Um, so if you want to actually go through with the Japanese gear, you're gonna have to go through a proxy service, which makes it even more expensive. But if you want to be the special snowflake at your local airsoft field instead of running multicam, that's kind of what you gotta do. I am right now. Once I get my PC running, I do want to get a new set of Japanese gear because I gave my G3 pants to a friend of mine and he loves them. So I'm starting to have seller's remorse. So Suomi, I hope that answered your questions. Let's see. You want to be I know. Now that I'm running Japanese SDF gear, a lot of you guys. Let's see. What was the proxy service? So the proxy service is called Zen Market. It's like zenmarket.com. They've been pretty on top of everything when it comes to buying stuff for me. Because how it works is that you send a link. What you'd have to do is, for example, if I go to Tatsakura, you have to go to the exact thing that you want, copy the site link, paste it in their chat, and if it's clothing, you have to say what size you want, and if it's in different camos, you have to say what camo it is, and then you have to then they'll like probably say what other details that you left out. So if it's like a specialized pants, they'll probably ask for like seam or the waist size, inseam, what type of camo you want, that sort of thing. They do not allow weapons, so so at least for Tatsukura, they have special engraved Tokyo Marui Type 89s, which I would love to get my hands on, but in order for me to do that, I have to go to Japan and actually buy it, and then essentially take it with me back to America, which is a pain in the ass right now because I'm not going to Japan for like another year or something like that. Actually, it might be the year after that because of change in my budget. But yeah, so overall, getting stuff from Japan is just a headache because depending on what proxy service you get or you use, they can either rip you off or they can be absolute saints. So hopefully that answered your question. Man, the more I talk about Zen Market, the more like memories come flooding back. That said, I believe I got my helmet cover from a different source, which is Militant. Let me see if I can pull up the bookmark. Let's see. Yeah, I think I got my my maritime helmet cover from Militant. So yeah, looks cool. I can't complain. It works pretty well. I mean, it's literally just a fabric cover for a helmet, you know. So yeah, that's where I get my Japanese Gucci gear. I am, given that in the area that I live in, like near GamePod, I am the only person along with like some other guy. I'm like one of two people in like 50 square miles of California that actually has JSDF gear. So we look pretty unique, aside from the people running Ratnik, or that one guy that ran that Revolutionary War gear. I don't know what that guy was thinking. So yeah, hopefully that answered your questions regarding that. I know it was a bit long-winded, and I'm pretty sure you wanted me to get to the point, but I like to talk a lot. So. Let's see. I saw your comment there, Kamilawa. I'm sorry, I can't do it. No problem, Salome. If you have any other questions, don't forget. Don't be shy. If you have any questions right now, you can ask me right now because I'm pretty much out of questions. I think I've gone through every single one. Let's see. Yeah, I pretty much did. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm not gonna end the stream because there's a couple of things I do want to address. Because traditionally when I do these Q&As, I usually do a block of questions first, then I do the status update. So I'm gonna start with the status update for those of you who didn't catch the first part. So the reason why I'm here right now and why I'm using my hentai laptop is because my gaming PC / editing PC was starting to get long in the tooth, and rendering videos took forever. And in a fit of rage, I gave my PC away to my cousin. I still have the hard drives for it, so I still have all the old videos and all my materials for working on SlideByte and other videos. So right now, I'm currently building a new PC that will render videos a heck of a lot faster and hopefully in higher resolution, because I do enjoy doing this, but I enjoy gaming a little more. Also because I am a flight student, Microsoft Flight Simulator was starting to kick my ass, so. Am I going with the i9? So no, I actually have the parts list right here. So, what was it? I'm going with an AMD Ryzen because supposedly it has a lot more cores. And also I figured, why not? I've been going with Intel for a while now, and I figured it'd be a good time to move on or try something new. This is going to be my most powerful build yet, because part of it is going to be a 3080 Ti, which is costing me an arm and a limb right now. Let's see. So yeah, right now, for the foreseeable future, I'm gonna try and use this laptop to, I guess, edit some videos. Um, before I used, well, actually, what was it? Season 1 of SlideByte, I used video editing called WeVideo, which is basically a Google like desktop editor. So I had to upload videos, which took forever, and then rendering videos took forever, and then uploading videos took forever. And then season 2, when I started doing this hobby a little more seriously, I started using DaVinci Resolve on my gaming PC, which was a huge mistake. But at the same time, I enjoyed the features that DaVinci Resolve had. And it, as you guys saw in my season 2 of SlideByte, the quality jumped up dramatically. And I want to continue using DaVinci Resolve, but the i5 processor that I had in my PC just basically took forever. The Scar H video took me like 6 hours to render, even though it was like, what was it, 20-ish minutes long. If I go back to my content, yeah, it wasn't even like a half an hour long. It was like 26 minutes for the Scar H video, and it took 6 hours to render, which was a pain in the ass. I couldn't play video games. I couldn't do homework. I couldn't use my PC. I had to like go and touch grass, which is heresy, or watch hentai on this thing, which, you know, the audio quality on this sucks, you know. And yes, I watch hentai for the plot. Don't at me. So yeah, it just, like I said, in a fit of rage, I gave it away. So now I'm basically paying for it by having to incrementally buy new parts. So that means that SlideByte is temporarily on hiatus, which I think if I look at the playlists, let's see, there it is. Season 2, I'm at the halfway point for season 2. So I've been structuring SlideByte like an anime. So season 1 had 12 episodes. Season 2 right now is at 6. So I guess it'd be like the OVA where I change things up, I guess. I was gonna jokingly do an OVA. That's actually kind of what the L85 video was. It was just a short that I did. So yeah, SlideByte's on temporary hiatus until my new PC is finally built. As long as it's not canceled after season 2. Yeah, don't tempt me. Season 2, after season 3 of SlideByte is gonna hopefully have more stuff. I know, it's kind of awful. But yeah, so season 2, honestly, season 2 is my most successful SlideByte series, mainly because, I think it's because I guess I'm putting a little more effort into it and it shows. And also because a lot of you guys like my intros and then immediately go and see something else. So yeah, SlideByte temporarily delayed. Sorry about that. I'll try and work on a SlideByte on this PC, but for me, it's gonna be like pulling teeth. So yeah. Aside from that, I was gonna do a second part to the Anime Expo Survival Guide, but the video didn't really do well for part 1. I'm guessing it's because right now we're not really in that season for Anime Expo, so I guess people have no point in looking for it. I guess if it gets popular enough, I'll make a part 2, which is basically actually at the expo. So for that one, I'm probably gonna have to do while I'm there, which means I have to work on this. Anyways, it was originally going to be a 3-part series, but I think I'm gonna just keep it at 2 because, like I said, my anime stuff has really never been very popular, and I blame Gbbs for that. Because it can never be my fault. I am 100% in, like, never in the wrong. Let's see. So yeah, Anime Expo. I am gonna be going next year. I'm gonna try and nab a pass and do a video on that. Someone was telling me to do a Full Metal Alchemist review, which I might do, but I don't know. Anime reviews never do very well, and I feel like a lot of people have explained it in a better way than I have, so there's no real point. I still want to do anime like content, but you know, if you guys have any ideas for it, I'll happily poach it. What was it? And there's a couple other things. Oh, right. So I'm gonna get on my little soapbox here and talk about the Novrich video, because a lot of people have been kind of like angry at me, rightfully so ish, because I went after their favorite YouTuber. The first thing I want to mention let's see if I go to the comments on the Novrich video here, which I'm gonna just pull up right now. So a lot of people have been talking to me about basically justifying Novrich's actions and his, like, I guess the way he does business. So a lot of people that have been kind of telling me about his business practices. I don't really care, truth be told. A lot of people have said in the video, yes, he rebrands a lot of his gear, and while it's a ripoff, you know, he's kind of coasting on his fame. So I mean, if I was in the same position where if I had the chance to basically market my own gas blowbacks, I would 100% totally try and shill. Well, I say that now, but I try to be ethical as I can. So I can't lie when it comes to shilling. So in the end, I probably sell like, I don't know, 10 gas blowbacks because I'd be too honest about it. It's like, hey, this is my gas blowback MDR. It is totally shitty, but it looks really cool. So if you want one, you know, I'll talk about it at the end, sort of thing. So yeah, yes, of course he's using rebranded stuff, and it's pretty well documented, but people still buy it anyways because of the name. So it's like buying a jersey, you know, for your favorite team. A lot of people are telling me to not place the blame on him. I still am going to do that though, because a lot of the stuff that he has done in the past and what he's still doing in the present is kind of, it's kind of dangerous. Not dangerous, but still a detriment to the airsoft community. For one, the people that are saying that he's pushing an AEG M4, I really, like, okay, he still has his sniper rifle as like the premier thing, and if you go to the most recent Novrich video where he talks about how to dominate a field. It was like some clickbaity video that I just quickly clicked in to look at the description. His tips and tricks and secrets page is empty. So if there was any guide on how to basically run or to get an AEG first, it's not there anymore. So, if you can continue defending him all you like, that's fair. But don't expect me to change my mind on this whatsoever. I still think that he and a lot of the other airsoft snipers really do give a lot of young impressionable audiences the wrong impression, like the wrong idea of what airsoft actually is. Um, I guess in a way I kind of do the same thing. So I guess season 3 I'll just retroactively say do not get a gas blowback. But at the same time, you know, gas blowbacks are, I could justify and say gas blowbacks are good for beginners only if you came from real firearms first. Because that's my story. I got into gas blowback airsoft rifles because I grew up on a shooting range and then transitioned to airsoft, and I felt that AUGs were just not my thing. So, some other stuff on the, what was it? Oh, there was another comment here. I'm gonna see where it was. Oh, cool. FOV Airsoft actually commented. There was a couple of people that were, I guess, that had really nothing useful to say except to say that I'm. Oh, actually, I think I know which person it was. If I can find it. All right, I'm gonna have to search or respond. Oh, here it is. So a lot of people are basically accusing me. A lot of people are accusing me of using Novridge's name to get more views, and they're 100% entirely right. The point of YouTube is to basically get as many views as possible. So yes, I'm 100% guilty of doing it because I, at the time, and I still do, think that he is a large, in large part, at least a figurehead, if not a good portion of, you know, the issue of current airsoft toxicity, just I guess on like issues, because I still think that the current bolt action sniper epidemic is just cancer. Again, that's why I built the 417, is because the semi-auto capability basically obsoletes bolt actions, which is what it's doing right now in the modern day. So yeah, I'm not sorry that I used his name because I did forget at the time because that was a rant. But when I look on it now, I'm not gonna say sorry for something that I intentionally did. I'm pretty sure if I backpedal, I'm still gonna get flack for it. So no, I totally did that to get views, to basically spread awareness about the issue. And people are, salty about it, but if I look at the analytics, what was it? What is it? It's, well, my most controversial video, it's got 120 or 112 likes to 26 dislikes. So it shows that the airsoft community in general agrees with me, and everyone else is more or less a Novridge fanboy. So, if it was truly a unpopular opinion, the ratio would be the other way around. Unless Novridge somehow finds my channel and decides to ratio me into the ground, I mean, I'm just a tiny sub 500 subscriber YouTube channel, and I don't even do this full time. So yeah. With the Novridge video thing, this is the only time that you're gonna see me talk about it because, again, the 4.7, I did that video as a quick rant because I was doing the slide bite for the 417, which I didn't even get that much footage, so I gotta go and do that video now. So yeah. And then there was someone else in the comments there basically saying how my 417's ballistics are unrealistic, because I only swapped out the barrel and bucking. I'm going to quickly say that this person has no knowledge of what gas blowbacks are, and is assuming that the fancy looking DMR in front of me is a AEG, which it totally isn't. So the guy has no context of the channel in which I do only gas blowbacks. Gas blowbacks mechanically are very, very simple to accurize. Realistically, all you need is a bucking and barrel to make it accurate. That's it. If you want to up the FPS, which will up the range, you have to put in an end pass system. And right now, my gun naturally shoots pretty hot. So all I needed to do was accurize it. So I put in the dual pressure bucking and I put in the Type 4 barrel. So as such, I'm hitting 350 feet right now, just fine. When I go to GamePod, I can easily hit targets from airport. So if you guys pull up a map of GamePod Combat Zone, in the corner there's a little area called airport, and I have a perfect sight line all the way down to the enemy spawn. And I'm a person with morals, so there's a car that marks about the halfway point. So once people start going past that point, I usually start shooting them because I think that's fair game. Anyone past that point, I generally leave alone. So that length is like roughly 200-ish feet. So I'm easily hitting people out to 100 feet, which is all that I need. And realistically, those bolt action snipers that have like the 600, 700 FPS springs, I'm not trying to go up against them really. I'm a mostly urban fighter, as the Kona Airsoft community members that are watching right now understand, because I got my ass handed to me when I was in Hawaii. So, yeah, I'm an urban fighter. I'm pretty sure that, and I'm pretty sure they're better bolt actions, but, So yeah, I do think that Norvidge's rifles and bolt action snipers do have a place in airsoft, but I find that their actual use is very niche, whereas my bolt action has a wider variety of use cases. So, for example, with milsim, if I was to go in milsim, I can provide overwatch, but I also have select fire. So if I need to go and kick down a door and section it off, I can still theoretically, do CQB with a 20-inch rifle. Actually, no, wait, the rifle's like 3 feet, I think, in length. I gotta measure it eventually. But everyone that has seen my videos and seen it hanging on my wall know that it's a pretty large rifle, but I can still, do mid to close range if I need to. And also another thing is bolt actions in general are pretty limited in their customizability. I know Norvidge puts out aftermarket furniture, but the 417 right off the bat had Picatinny, so no matter which way people try to slice the bolt action sniper argument, I've already found a way to dissect it quite easily. And even me with like my substandard, I guess, skill, I'm still owning bolt action snipers whenever I get into a duel. So let's see. So yeah, that's the last thing I'm going to mention about the Norvidge thing. Unless Norvidge responds, then I don't know. It's just people get very salty. Actually, no, there is another thing I want to say. I know I'm saying that a lot, but one other thing I do want to say when it comes to the Norvidge thing is I used his name, but in reality, it kind of, in my mind, I was encompassing a whole bunch of other airsoft YouTubers. For one, Swit Airsoft does the same, but he's arguably worse because he's shilling WeTech, which I mean, a lot of people can totally do that, but he's like shilling not just WeTech, he's shilling like Swit Airsoft, which is just overpriced, like historical junk. That's just my opinion on it. So he's wrapped around Swit, that or he owns Swit. I don't know. and his upgrades are literally the same thing that people can do for a lot cheaper. So yeah. Then there's Kicking Mustang, which I have an actual bone to pick. I think that I definitely think that. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm back. So yes, as I was saying, well, if I can, if the stream will come back. Right. So as I was saying, yes. The so yeah. Actually, can I rotate this? Oh, right. Orientation lock. Boo. Hiss. Didn't I expect this stream to go for so long? One sec. Okay, there we go. Okay. So, sorry, as I was saying, yeah. So, I do have a serious bone to pick with Kicking Mustang because I think he is far worse than Noveridge because at least with Noveridge and Swit they have sportsmanship to back them up. With with Kicking Mustang, he's just a straight up asshole. The Mac 10 video is a pretty good example of that, where he just full on mag dumps someone with like no remorse. And of course, the young impressionable kids in his like audience, they think it's cool because who doesn't want to be an asshole about things? Sorry, Coco. So yeah, I think Kicking Mustang is arguably worse, and everyone that I talk to agrees that the guy is an insufferable cunt. The reason why I keep tapping, by the way, is because my screen keeps like disappearing because it's on auto battery mode or like battery saver mode. So yeah, I think Kicking Mustang is insufferable, and people still like him. And as I joked with someone in my comments here, yeah, the guy is basically telling his viewers, which I'm guessing is like, I don't know, half of the airsoft community, to shoot people in the testicles, which is not a cool thing, bro. Which is which is funny because I remember once I was hiding behind a piece of cover at GamePod, and this was when I had an IOTV when I was still getting into airsoft. And when I took out the groin plate to swap out the plating or the foam, like the crotch area was just like absolutely pelted. So yeah, I think the guy is just awful, and I don't care if his fan base comes and tries to cancel me. I'm gonna have to keep tapping it. Actually, I'm just But yeah, so as I was saying, I don't care if his fan base comes and like tries to cancel me. I'm gonna say my favorite word. Frankly, they're not the audience that I want because, I believe in sportsmanship. And I believe in essentially being a team player, being nice to your opponents as well, because we're all in it for the sport. So, we're all generally pretty nice, except for that one occasional kid that gets kicked out. But let's see. I'm gonna see if I can turn off the auto battery thing. One sec. We're stuck like that. But yeah. So there's a lot wrong with the airsoft community. Also, there's a bit of gatekeeping. For the longest time, the reason why I didn't recommend the Heavy Recoil Club was because there's this insufferable this insufferable cunt named Hayes, who basically runs only a Viper Tech, occasionally VFC, but he's just like got zero tolerance for new people. So, yeah, I know, Jamie. This is what happens when I'm running on a iPhone and a laptop as my stream setup. So yeah. I just Yeah, so yeah, I think not. Well, Narvich is one of the many issues. Oh yeah, I think the Heavy Recoil Club. Yeah, so the guy finally got banned, and now I'm starting to like advertise that the Heavy Recoil Club exists because I generally think that they're an helpful group of people. Compared to most airsoft discords that I'm on that are just like 100% toxic cesspools. So you know, so yeah. If the guy is watching, I'm glad he got banned. Truth be told, um, I honestly didn't want him to get banned because I think he's an actual genuinely good source of knowledge. But the thing is, knowledge really is knowledge. All the most helpful knowledge needs a good delivery system. It means nothing if to a new person if the most informative person in the group is a insufferable asshole. It's like delivering candy in well no, it's like eating candy that is basically coated in sandpaper. It's not going to go down easy, and it's going to mess up your tongue and your mouth. That's kind of the feeling I got from the guy. So it's kind of the same with like gear spurgs and repro stuff. You know, run what you want. Like for Suomi, if you're still in the stream, and I'm sorry for the technical issues, but you know, I hope that you are actually like legitimately enjoying JSDF gear because you actually like to run it. Like aside from me, that's just like a superficial a superficial dude slash weeaboo. Oh man, I gotta make sure that my iPhone doesn't fall asleep on me. Um, so yeah, the so yeah, I think overall airsoft, because it's a hobby. Hobbies have like cliques and as such, and subgroups, and no one really wants to let people in. And I get why. If you mainstream a hobby, but airsoft is already pretty mainstream. It leads to very very weird things happening. I know that on Reddit there's like a political airsoft group which makes no sense, left wing airsoft, and they're literally just like it's. Uh, there's no need to get political with that sort of stuff. Airsoft is for everyone, kind of like how the Second Amendment is for everyone. So, yeah, a lot of weirdness, and yeah, so that this is a really, really, really long tangent on the airsoft like toxicity thing. How many people are actually watching? 4? Wow, that's 4 more than I was expecting. So yeah, um, is there anything else I need to talk about before I end the stream? Not really. I do kind of just want to keep laying into the airsoft community, but at the same time, I kind of don't because, I mean, I'm already painting a massive target on my back. I guess I can just keep painting it larger and larger and larger and larger. uh, but yeah, so that's. I guess I'm gonna have to. I guess I'm gonna end the stream like somewhat soon. I want to wrap up by saying that I guess just be nice to each other, really, and also take everything that I say with a grain of salt. While I may do reviews that are mostly informative, I want people to actually go out and look at other videos besides mine, because I feel like with a lot of people, it's very easy to just essentially take the word of some random, fake Asian and and just run with it. then all of a sudden, you wonder why my information wasn't 100% correct. I don't want people to treat me as gospel, and truth be told, I really don't want this channel to become too popular, because I want to keep this as a hobby. If I do this as a job, then it becomes a job, and it no longer becomes enjoyable. And yeah, and you know, I find hobbies more enjoyable than working. And I don't want to have the pressure of like having to consistently push out slide bite after slide bite after slide bite, when in reality I'm still kind of doing that. But I just don't want it to be even worse than what it is now. And yeah, I'm actually, well, how many subscribers I'm at? 396. God damn. I think it's like 2 years to this day that enjoyable. Oh God, Jamie, don't bring that up. For those of you who don't know, the Kona Airsoft community, I'm not sure if this was coincidence or if they actually think it's cool, but when I went to play Airsoft with them, Jamie, who is a pretty awesome dude, basically California compliant a gas blowback rifle, which is what I was going to do, but when I saw it up close and in person, I realized why I never actually did it. And the crazy thing is, one of them actually ran it. So I'm guessing they died, but that G5 haunts my dreams. Like this wonderful forest of gas blowbacks, and this G5 is there stalking me with its fin. Yeah, I love the Kona Airsoft community. I think that out of all the airsoft groups that I've met, you couldn't have found a more awesome group of guys that are so down to earth. All right, Camilla kid. I'm also gonna cut the stream here because it is 1 a.m. and I got school tomorrow, and I gotta take my dogs out to take a piss. So, with that out of the way, take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And thank you for tuning in on this Q&A and status update. I hope to do more of these. Take it easy, everyone.